We have Criss Angel. And
two S's.
He's going to be here. And I guess we could talk about other stuff, but there's so many, 65 million questions on Gmail.
We're only going to get 3
And he's
anyway.
got, what he's pimping is, he's got, coming out a long time from now, like in June is the next season of Mindfreak.
Right, actually, the DVD's
That's
out right
Criss
now.
Angel's
yes,
voice right
and
there.
thank you for having me on, and congratulations on the success, Penn, of the show. Thanks for having me on.
And I'm holding the DVD here, and a lot of you people write in about the genius of Criss Angel and his show and his magic, but
come on,
that's
genius.
Fine. That's fine.
Come on.
I want to talk.
use.
The thing that's genius about this is the title he used.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, he does.
The title is Mind Freak, which is not what everybody hears.
Right.
Everybody knows that's mind F word.
Exactly.
That's what they all know. But Mind Freak allows it to be in the stores and be everywhere. Why didn't we go with Bullshoot? We could have done Bullshoot, Bullshoot, anything, and then we could
say
be
the name
here.
of our own show.
Mind Freak. No one has ever used the expression Mind Freak, and now you own it. Now you own it. It's
and that's
a
why
great
they're
idea.
typing in genius, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. See, that's marketing. How about we name our show something that we can't even say on our other shows? No, Mind Freak is there, and it was a good show.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, I try to blur the line so that people know that a lot of what I do is real. It's not BS.
Well, that's one of the
and
things.
A lot of it is
a big
BS,
question.
You know?
That's a really big
thing.
question.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I really, because I know the answer to this, and read a couple of the things that was on the Penn and Teller web thing.
Sure. It's I bet it's not a trick. I know it's real. When he talking about you lifted that taxi off the little girl, it must be true because if it was an illusion, how would you do it in front of an audience? I mean, there are a million of these.
Also, how can you tell a number that's in someone's head?
How can you tell?
Yeah. You see, all right. Let's talk about that if I may, for a second. I do not believe that anybody has the ability to do anything that's supernatural. I believe nothing of what I hear and half of what I see. And until I see some proof in front of me, it's just all BS. People just take advantage of vulnerable people.
We did Penn and Teller's Sin City Spectacular years ago. We wanted to do psychic readings for people. And our morality said that we couldn't ever pass it off as real, but we got an actress who was tremendous, and she studied for not long, like a week, but she was a great actress, great at improv, and she went and we set her up with a fake book. She had this book coming out, The Stars Are Your Answer, and set her up at Caesars and a really nice thing, and brought people in. And she did readings for them. And, man, the readings she did... Dead on,
right.
Killed, using all the cold reading techniques and all the stuff you're going to use.
People are crying.
Yeah. But who did that, too, on the radio is the Amazing Randy.
Yeah, sure, he did that all the time.
Incredible.
But here's where you're going to have to watch out.
Okay.
And I'm really giving you real advice.
Yeah.
People broke down, and they cried and believed in her.
Right.
So then she had to go and tell them, listen, we're just doing this for a TV show. And it really broke her heart. I mean, I was dating her at the time, and for like 2 weeks, she was like, how'd I get that guy to cry about his grandmother? And, so what you got to be careful of is, there's that great line by Bob Dylan, fearing not I become my enemy in the instant that I preached. You have to make sure when you're doing that sucker thing that you keep your love for the victim.
Sure.
Because, the bad guys are the guys that are lying.
Right.
People thought we were giving away a magic on TV to be snotty. Right. And the real reason you give it away is that there's a certain kind of beauty. It doesn't change it. I mean, someone can explain to you how Bach writes a fugue. You still can't write it,
Right, exactly.
And you can open up those books that have the score of every single track of everything.
Can't play
Beatles song. It doesn't give you the power of Sgt. Pepper's. No. And magicians went just wild and hated us.
Right. Well, that was the same thing with the masked magician. Everybody was such an uproar. Not that I was a proponent of that. But the worst thing you can do is sit there and go against it, because the truth of the matter is if you do what you do well, you could sit there and point out. I do it all the time.
Sure.
I say, I'm not using this, and I'm specifically pointing out what I'm saying I'm not using, and I'm using that. Yeah. But I do that constantly. I mean, being a magician is being an actor who's lying.
I love the fact that all these people,
they're fighting for you, man. They are. Criss Angel's a god. He's just amazing. I can't believe he's doing it. He's got these powers. I know they're real.
And what makes that
totally
confusing, and I'll say this as the guy who does the BS show, is that some of your stuff is real. The stunt stuff you do is real. The stuff that isn't supernatural, the stuff that's stupid, is real. Stupid stuff real, supernatural stuff fake.
Exactly.
Could get hurt.
Couldn't explain it better myself.
And Todd Robbins,
he's great,
told me stories that I don't get tense. 'Cause I'm not going to tell you on the air because it does involve methods.
Oh, okay.
But he was telling me about one of the a couple of the tricks he helped you with, and he was saying, here's what we could do to make it easier. And you were going, no, let's do it the harder way.
Wow, it was really stupid.
It won't make any difference. It won't make any difference on TV. No difference at all. And you were going, no, let's do it the harder way.
And you know what? Even though I did it the harder way, you still get people like in a magic world, which I really could give beep, beep, beep about. But they sit there and say, it's trick photography, it's this, it's that. And the truth of the matter, it isn't. I worked really hard to try to pull it off so it would be like you would experience it if you saw a live show. But they didn't appreciate that, and they just write it off as whatever.
That's really bothersome, because if you're a magician, like the couple of shows that I watched, what Teller and I were amazed by was that you bothered doing it when it could be trick. And you'd think that someone was hip, would just go, like you did that thing with moving the people up the hallway. Right. One of the ones I saw.
That wasn't a lockdown camera shot.
I know that. I know it wasn't lockdown. And I was, my wife was watching it, and she said, "Man, how did he do that?" And I went, "He didn't do it the easy way.
No.
He did it the really hard way." And I went, she said, "So the people that are standing there saw that same thing?" And I went, "Unfortunately, yes."
Yeah. So let me tell you how I did it right now. An exclusive I use twins.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. I'll let you do that.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
it was entertaining. It was good. It was twins.
It was last season's show.
Exactly.
And the genius of using twins. And I don't know if this was your idea.
Yes, it was.
But the genius of having a couple.
Exactly.
Because you had two,
a guy and a girl.
A guy and a girl.
Yeah. Now I can do a whole family with a dog for next season. I am. No one's even gonna know it. I'm saying this on the radio. People still won't believe me that I would reveal how I'm going to do something on next season. So watch it, and then you tell me if you see me do it. And I guarantee you're going to tell me I would never reveal my trick. So I don't have powers. I don't. And yet people tell me I do. I'm the devil.
And you want to get credit.
Right.
I mean, you're working your ass off. You're doing, a million shows for no money in the middle of the desert in no time. And then someone says you have powers. You want to go, no, I didn't sleep for 3 months.
Exactly.
I'm working my ass off. If I had powers, I would have had time for a life.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and also, if you have powers, you're not climbing through a storefront window. You're saving the world.
Right.
Let's talk. I mean, who's got powers?
Or
that's
winning
a
lottery ticket
out of somewhere.
Yeah, not even winning a lottery ticket, man. If all of a sudden you had
saving babies.
Even one of the powers you had there, you're saving babies.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the first thing you're doing. And the fact that when they say you have powers, you're doing this TV show, it's questioning your morality. It's like I would be working with every scientist in the world.
Right.
I'd be winning the Nobel Prize. I'd be doing anything I could to use this to stop the HIV virus. I'd be stopping dysentery in Africa. I would not be making people
a card trick. Hey, you're thinking of the 6 of diamonds, right? I could cure AIDS, but 6 of diamonds.
And if you could read someone's mind, you would be reading people's minds on September 10th, 2001. You would have been reading minds and going, yo, I got to get the CIA on the phone. I got some guys flying into Boston. You got to know about it. And oh, by the way, they picked the 7 of diamonds. They're going to kill a lot of people. They also picked the 7 of diamonds.
What we're doing right now is we're just breaking it down very logical. And if people just break things down logical, you can really understand a lot. But people want to believe.
Yeah, I guess so.
And people, I think, are somewhat vulnerable. Look at these guys that are on television that say they can talk to the dead. Yeah. Right? So people are very vulnerable to spend their money, and these people are like, sharks. They just leeches that suck these people dry. That makes me crazy, man.
Oh, there's nothing worse.
The scum of the earth.
And I, cared about this a lot when my mom and dad were alive. And then my mom and dad died, and I felt that grief, that clutching, a drowning man will grab a snake, it's just anything. And I felt that grief, and then that kind of good-natured, hey, they should cut that out, kind of turned into this really dark rage. Yep. And speaking of dark rage, we'll be back with Criss Angel and more of your questions. We got nothing to fight with him about. We got to find a different magician we can scream at. We'll be back after this. Penn Jillette, Las Vegas.
as far as the medium of television, I do not use trick photography. What I do is I try to present what I do as if I was presenting it to a person, because when I'm performing for a person one-on-one, I'm able to use misdirection. I'm able to control where I want this person to look. If I had a wide camera shot, it wouldn't be the same experience. So I use the camera in the same way that I would perform for a person. What you see on television is what I do live. What you see is what you get. There's no trick photography. I just told you I use twins.
Exactly. You got to talk a little bit about David Blaine, because I know, yeah, David. Everybody wants to compare you to David Blaine.
Oh, okay.
And go ahead, compare yourself to David Blaine.
I really don't. I don't look behind me. I look in front of me, and so I don't look over my shoulder at anybody. But I think David has done some really fantastic things in his career. I wish him all the best. I don't have any. We kind of buried the hatchet, but I think that what I offer is a much more provocative approach, and I also perform an evening show, and I think that I'm diverse, and I think what he does is wonderful for what he does, and I wish him all the best.
You've got to admit that his invention
is great
of doing
Street
that
magic.
Way of doing
Absolutely.
magic on TV.
Genius.
I mean, we saw that, and and to speak really frankly here, maybe more frankly than we should, the tricks he was doing were 100% jive.
Right.
I mean, every magician, it was like,
Why didn't I think of that?
It was like Miles Davis listening to guys playing Louie Louie and going, what? They had a hit with that. And, you're sitting there going, this is a magic trick that I used. And what
$8.
$8. And Teller and I were watching that and going, you have to be very careful not to forget what's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what reminded
Simplicity.
us of. That stuff that you loved when you were 12 was actually a good trick.
Yeah. It really was.
That cigarette through the quarter thing that you kind of went, oh, this is nice, is a killer trick.
Biting the quarter.
Yeah. All that stuff was just really great. And he got that idea of also focusing on the people's reaction and doing that whole thing, and also brought it down. And I think the television and the reality shows really helped with the kind of stuff that
I do, and I really do, give him props for that. It's going to be interesting to see what he does, with the TV special he has coming out.
Oh, you guys got one coming out?
Yeah, he has one coming out, so I wish him the best. And David, give me a call. We should do something.
I will be back. We got Criss Angel with Michael Godot in Las Vegas. We'll be back and do maybe some more questions, maybe something else. We're just hanging out, having a good time. Come back after this. Ooh, that bass player's good.
That's great.
The stuff we should really have on the radio is the stuff where during the breaks we talk about how the tricks are really done. And then we go back and go on.
Here's something for you. And I'll do another little reveal. I did a thing on my show where I predicted a girl's panty color, right? So I'm sitting there and I said, you're wearing she had a bracelet on that had polka dots. She had a shirt on that had polka dots. And I said, now I want you to think about the color of your panties. I guarantee you that it's some type of polka dot pattern. And she flipped out and lost it. And she pulled it up, she showed it, and her friends freaked out. And she didn't realize that about an hour before she sat down.
You'd been screwing her.
No, I just had a beautiful view, And then, I waited a half hour, and I pulled it out. Very perceptive, I guess, at girls' panties when they're sitting down. And lo and behold, I fooled America. Not no more.
That is great. The pie shot magic of Criss Angel.
Check out our panties, dude. I'll use that.
Yeah.
Now we're going to have every magician writing into all those chat rooms saying, Criss is revealing all the stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll blame you and Teller, who doesn't speak.
He didn't sit there and go, your panties have polka dots, and point up her skirt.
That's a
You've
juggler
got to
thing.
wait.
Yeah.
You've got to wait.
Exactly.
You've got to work it. You've got to time it. You've got to wait.
You do some other things prior to doing
Sure.
that. I built it up, and I was like, I can do something a little more intimate, if it's okay with you.
Please don't be offended.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. A woman who just moments before
was like, no, like this chick right over here on the table.
just moments before she was doing that, but now she's all demure, and you're looking in their eyes and doing the whole thing. That's the way you got to do it. You can't just scream and point. You are the first magician who has ever had a woman be willing to face them with a skirt on. That's all, you know.
Well, I know somebody makes a girl pregnant in their show, but anyway.
Well, you know, there are other ways to do that besides magic.
Well, some of us can't, I guess. But anyway.
Criss Angel, Penn Jillette, Michael Godot, Criss Angel.
Thanks,
Thank
guys,
you
for having me on.
Oh, man, it's great. Bye-bye.